Merry Christmas, everyone, and welcome to the Game Week 18 deadline stream. Hope all of you guys are doing well. I hope you had a good time with your friends and family over the Christmas break. So, today is Boxing Day, and FPL is back, which is the best part of the festive period. There's lots of football to come. So, a lot of things to discuss, and I've done something that I don't usually do um, in that I've brought in a pretty risky player in Phil Foden, but we'll speak about him in a bit. I obviously transferred him in already before Saka price dropped, right? So let's see what happens. But for now, I know we're gonna receive lots of questions in today's stream asking me to justify why I brought Phil Foden in. But the truth is that there's really not many standout options as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you guys for coming down early for the Game Week 18 deadline stream. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me say hi to some of you guys in the chat. There's about 20, 24, 26 of you guys. Hi Don, I see you. Merry Christmas to you as well. DJ, very, very nice. Hi all from sunny Nama Bay, Egypt. Very, very nice. Me here and I see you. Boxing Day, yep. Green bread pastry, I see you as well. Henry, Merry Christmas to you. Pedro or Raul bench? I probably start João Pedro ahead of Raul Jimenez this week. Mohammed says, get Trent or Isak in. I think this week, when it comes to bringing in Trent or Isak, I think I would still tend to side the one with greater upside, which is I feel Isak at this point in time. Yeah, but I mean, you look at Trent as well. Like this Leicester fixture is very, very plumb for him. But if I'm to prioritize one, I would actually prioritize Isak. It's not that this Aston Villa fixture is going to be great for him, but it's just that, over the longer period of time, you would want someone like Isak. If it's a case of you bringing the other one later down the line, I guess you could argue that you could go for Trent first before you go for Isak. There is that possibility. NJ official says Kulusevski or Sa. I prefer Sa. I'm assuming you mean Ismail or Sa. Azuma, nice to see you. Hi from South Africa. Casper, nice to see you as well. YJT says Salah Christmas post. I mean, every year is the same thing. Every year. I just love reading the comments. If you know, you know. Dave says hello for a -4 for Saka and Cunha for. Sorry, Saka and Cunha for Bruno and Haaland. I don't mind that actually. If you have, seems like you have lots of money in the bank, I don't mind that. You're obviously banking on City turning their form around then, similar to me. Dominique, Merry Christmas. Leon, Merry Christmas to you as well. Odegaard, Foden, Son, or Bruno for Saka. Justification for Foden. Minutes risk. Well, the question has come, right? On why I've chosen to go for Foden. Now, I know he is a risky pick, right? Firstly, City's form is not good. Secondly, his minutes wise is not 100%. But I've had a look at the past few games where he was available and he's played 90 or a decent chunk in all of those games. Now, I look at the fixtures moving forward as well. I don't see games where, aside from this Everton game, I don't see games where Man City will struggle to score. I mean, as bad as they've been playing, the teams they are about to play concede lots and lots of goals. So I imagine that there will be some sort of a comeback. But obviously, this may not be for everyone. Like, I've decided to move for Foden here. It's more of a calculated gamble, I guess you could say that, because something I've tried to commit to this season is to try and move early and back my gut on things that I think will happen moving forward. Now, sometimes it's worked out, sometimes it hasn't, right? So same with this kind of Foden move here. It's not going to be for everyone, but I feel like I could I could potentially be in a case where I want to kind of back this run of fixtures that Man City have, which is really good, right? So I've decided to move for Foden. I mean, the move has been done, right? And obviously, I'm still, even at this point, like a little bit iffy about it, but it is what it is, right? Like, I had to make the decision last night before Saka price drop because I already took a couple of price drops for him. And yeah, and in terms of the alternatives as well, I feel like there's not really a lot of standout options. Like I discussed this in the team selection video, but Bruno Fernandes, if I go for him, I already have Ahmad. And then if I go for Son, I'm not convinced of their fixtures. Madison, okay, but sometimes he gets taken off, for no reason. Like they're chasing the game, but they take Madison off sometimes. So that's Madison. And then there's Odegaard, there's Martinelli, there is Trossard as well. But all those players would then block me out of going João Pedro to Jesus later down the line if I do want to do that. So I think I've just decided to take a gamble here on Foden, and it's mainly also because this spot there's no clear-cut replacement, which is going to be the trend that I'm going to speak about as you guys ask me about Saka replacements. There's no clear replacement, and basically I think there is opportunity here to just go different and just try to be a bit maverick with this. So we'll see what happens. Thank you all for coming down very early, by the way. We are at 100 viewers already. So if you haven't, please do drop a like on the stream. That would be very, very nice. And also, while you're here, I hope you guys have had a very, very good Christmas period. If you're celebrating, if you're not, I still hope this, period as we get closer to the new year is a good time for you and your families to get together. Right, so let me get to some of your questions. Yusef says, I'm glad you're on the Foden train. Bought him in game week 8. He wasn't ready at the time. I think he'll shine now in the next 5. Yeah, I mean, he really splits the community, I feel like, Foden. Like, some people are just thinking about, or I guess some people have the opinion that going for Foden here is just a bad move. But others on the other spectrum are thinking that, there is opportunity here to take advantage of. So there's not many people on the fence. I feel like I've only really seen kind of split opinions on Foden. Dilemma, please bench Iwobi or Enzo. I think I will play Enzo Fernandez ahead of Iwobi. Robinson bench for Luka Dean. Both not great fixtures, to be honest. And both away as well. I might play Robinson. I might. Just because I think Fulham are a slightly better defense than Aston Villa. For me, when João Pedro plays as the main striker, his performance drops. He suits more as a supporting striker or number 10. Yeah, I tend to agree with that as well. But Welbeck, we'll need to see whether he's back, right? Merry Christmas to you, P. Carchu. Bench João Pedro or Semenyo. So Bournemouth this week have Crystal Palace, but it's not going to be an easy fixture. I prefer João Pedro this week. Like Brentford, as bad as Brighton have been in the attack, Brentford have just been super poor defensively. Yosef says, Bruno is a popular pick for all FPL Twitter managers, but I'm happy having Ahmad as cover for United. I guess I'm on a similar kind of thinking with you on that. It's mainly why I don't want to go for Bruno as well. Like, I already have Ahmad. Brought in Trent for a -4, so I'm waiting to bring in Isak next week and instead of taking a -8. That's fair. Bench one of Ahmad, João Pedro, or Cunha. It's either one of Ahmad or Cunha. Either one of them. And if Cunha is on pens, and also it seems like he'll play, by the way, because the FA have not gone back to Wolves on the ban yet, I might have to go with the one on pens. Killcheck, hope you had a great Christmas as well. Boy Che, thank you for the plug. Saka out, Luis Diaz in. Luis Diaz. Can we be certain of Luis Diaz's minutes though? Like, that was the main concern. Like, that's why I haven't moved for Luis Diaz. Start Rogers or Enzo. I prefer Rogers over Enzo. Saka to Diaz, good or bad? I just can't nail down Luis Diaz's minutes. Like that's the main reason why I haven't gone for him. I was close on him though, but it's just the logical side of my mind just said, his minutes are just something that we can't trust. Especially now with the fixture crunch that we're having over this festive period. Thoughts on Bowen captaincy? That's going to be quite maverick, to be honest. Southampton, to be fair, defended quite decently against Fulham. I will say that. Best Saka replacement really, really depends and very subjective as well. I've gone for Foden. Start Johnson or Ahmad? Who do Spurs have this week? Spurs are playing Nottingham Forest. I think I prefer Ahmad. Who should I bench? João Pedro, Enzo, Wood, or Sarr? Probably Enzo in that case. Probably Enzo. Sixth Man Pod says, can I ask, choose 2 out of 3. Ahmad, Aina, or Vissa? Ooh. I'm going to say Ahmad and Vissa. Because I do think like Spurs would score against Nottingham Forest. Henry says, next matchup, Raul or Pedro. Next match, Raul or Pedro, change Jesus or Solanke or Wood. I think, okay, in terms of future transfer plans for myself at least, I have plans to sell João Pedro to either one of Mateta or Jesus. Either one of them. So I don't mind binning off João Pedro. Obviously, it depends on how he does, right? But I don't mind binning him off in game week 19. Who's a good player to be the captain this week? I think this week it's hands down Mo Salah. Downgraded Trent for Virgil and Saka for Bruno plus Vissa for Isak. What do you think? I think overall those picks that you brought in can be kept for quite a long period of time. But I don't know about downgrading Trent for Van Dijk though. Clarence says play Enzo, Rogers, or Chris Wood. I would start Chris Wood, so it would come down to Enzo Fernandez or Morgan Rogers, and I think Enzo has the slightly better fixture. Slightly. It's marginal. Could you explain your reasoning behind Foden? Yeah, I knew there would be lots of Foden questions, but basically, I'm just not convinced of all the other options, so I'm taking a gamble here on the fixtures that Man City have moving forward. It's as simple as that. And I'm pretty confident of Foden's minutes over this festive period. So that's pretty much it. The other alternatives all have pros and cons. And obviously, I feel like their cons outweigh the pros. For example, like Bruno Fernandes, I already have Ahmad. Do I want to double up on Manchester United? Right, so different reasons for all of those alternatives. And I think maybe something that I like to also put forth as well is that because there is so much uncertainty, or I guess there's no clear-cut replacement for Saka, I should say, that there is a very good opportunity now to just try and go different. I mean, the safe picks I would say this week is going Saka to Bruno or dropping him all the way down to Ismail Assar. But those moves, to be honest, don't really excite me. I mean, I'm happy enough to just take a chance on Foden. We'll see what happens. And it's not the worst thing in the world, right? If over these next few game weeks he doesn't return, I can just transfer him out. I know that is banking a transfer in later down the line, but the value in that is that I get these few fixtures, and if it somehow works out, and if he pops off in form, then I could be at the start of, I could be going early here. So again, I'm not gonna convince people to join me on this Foden train because I know it's gonna split opinions. So I don't want you guys to do it just because I'm doing it. If you are convinced yourself as well, or if you want to take a bit of a risk, then fair enough. If not, as I've said, the stable, safe picks would just be Bruno Fernandes or Ismail Assar. For what it's worth, if I did not have Ahmad, I'm pretty sure I would have gone for Bruno Fernandes. I should say that. Chewy says, "Hey, I'm wildcarding next week. Going to take a 1 week punt for my Saka replacement. Who do you reckon? If it's a 1 week punt, it's either one of the Arsenal players or the Liverpool midfielders. It's exactly as you mentioned, right? So I think it comes down to how certain you are that they would play. I'm gonna say that I honestly am afraid of Luis Diaz's minutes. Like even in this Leicester game, like could they rest him? I mean, likely is that he'll start, but how many minutes is he gonna get? And then if I go for someone like an Arsenal midfielder, like a Trossard or a Martinelli, I'll be more certain of their minutes because they honestly don't have many wingers right now. And I think against Ipswich, they're probably going to score a good number of goals as well. So I probably go for the safer pick, I guess, in the Arsenal midfielders that I can nail are going to start. So either one of Martinelli or Trossard. Likely Martinelli, I would say. Bench Munoz or Huijsen. I think I wouldn't bench Munoz. I'll start Munoz. There's just more upside. I mean, I know that Huijsen has scored, I think, 2 goals now since he came into the side after Senesi got injured. But you would back Munoz to score more than you would Huijsen. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I'm probably butchering his name. I apologize for that. Jasper says brought in Foden as well. Big upside. Let's hope. I mean, it would be a Merry Christmas if Foden does something. And to be fair, it's not so much this Everton game that I'm hoping for something from Foden. It's actually the Leicester West Ham game. And honestly, Brentford away, Ipswich away are fine fixtures as well. That's the main reason why I'm okay to buy Foden. Like even if somehow he misses out, I can just keep him for the next 5 and hopefully they do something. Nobody talked about Son, but I will go with Son. I mean, it's just a case of if I go for Son, I'm blocked out of other moves later down the line. I can't do João Pedro up to Mateta. I can't do João Pedro up to Gabriel Jesus. So it locks me out of the move. And is there a need to give priority to someone like Son and sacrifice not going for Jesus or Mateta down the line? I think I'd actually prioritize going for Jesus or Mateta instead of going for Son now. Andre, Merry Christmas to you as well. Should I sell Larson to Jackson for a -4? I don't think you need to rush to get Jackson in for a -4, if I'm honest. Like, if you have Larson as well, I think you can just start him. VJ, thank you for the plug. Can we aim for 100 likes? There's about there's 200 of you guys watching. Thank you guys for coming down. If you haven't already, please do drop a like on the stream. We're at 42 likes now. Every stream we try to hit 100 likes. That is pretty much the aim. Like anything above that is a bonus. So if you are hearing or you're watching this stream right now, please help me out. It just takes a second or two to just drop a like on the stream. That would be massive. Gary says, are Johnson's minutes limited due to fitness or has he fallen out of favor? Came off early against Chelsea with a knock or sprain. Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I think it's a combination of both, Gary. I think it's a combination of both. And it's pretty much why I don't think we can go for Johnson right now. Like, he's not someone I would transfer in for sure. Is it worth a -8? For Pedro and Cunha to Solanke and Wood? Nah, I don't think I would do that. Jimmy Rascal says, hey dude, which one would you play out of Rogers, Sarr, and Semenyo? Probably Sarr and Semenyo. Like, Rogers on the bench this week does not feel good, but I would also say that Newcastle as a defensive unit of late have been better than Newcastle as a defensive unit have been better than Man City as a defensive unit. I think we can agree on that. Craig Boy, Merry Christmas to you as well. Merry Boxing Day. Foden will be benched now that I've brought him in. That would be the biggest joke. That would be the biggest joke. I do hope he doesn't get benched. Madison not playing. I think Madison will play. The reason why I haven't brought Madison in is because there's always some uncertainty. Like somehow he plays well in the game, but he might get substituted off as well. Like tactical decisions wise, there's always, those off. I wouldn't say off chance, but there's always a couple of games where I wonder why Ange Postecoglou is taking Madison off, and yeah, it just happens. Tactical decisions wise, he's not afraid of taking Madison off. All right, the chat is going on quite a bit. Like there's quite a bit of messages, so I'm gonna speed through them, and if I miss your message, just type it in again. I do apologize for that. Banana says it's pronounced Hausen. All right, Hausen. Thank you very much for that. Who should I go for? Who should I go for in the midfield? Iwobi or Sarr. I think if it's Iwobi or Sarr, I prefer Sarr. Muhammad Asif says, am I from Singapore? Yes, I am from Singapore. About that as well, right after this stream, I will be, not immediately, but in a couple of hours' time, I will be flying off to the UK. So for those of you who are watching this stream, I'm not gonna spoil anything or whatever, but I could be doing a collab soon. So that's all I would say. Keep your eyes peeled and watch this space. All right, but I'll be going to the UK for a bit of a holiday, and I'll be watching the West Ham versus Liverpool game. I managed to get a couple of tickets there, so yeah, we'll see what happens. Very excited for that. But obviously going to continue to keep you guys updated with the FPL videos, with the streams. So I'm going to bring my gear and everything. So hopefully the videos and everything will be smooth. Stan, I see you in the chat. Merry Christmas to you as well. Yes, Foden. I mean, it's going to turn some heads, I know. May I ask, would you triple Captain Salah? I plan to play the manager chip when there's double game weeks. I'm worried he will get benched earlier, plus at bench. Okay, triple captain chip wise, would I play it on Salah this week? I mean, what do you guys think of the triple captain chip this week? I would say that the value of the triple captain chip this season, playing it in a single game week over that in a double game week, it's not that I would say that in past seasons you would reserve it for the double game weeks, but I would say that this season playing it in a single game week is much more justified. And I compare this Salah fixture against Leicester at home at Anfield as well to the one where many people captain Haaland against Southampton. People triple captain him, I think somewhere in game week 9. Earlier in the season in game week 2, there was the Ipswich one as well. I think when I compare these three, I guess, windows where triple captainship was discussed a little bit more. Oh, I apologize for that. There's balloons. Yeah, in these three windows where the triple captainship was discussed a little bit more, I actually think that the Ipswich fixture in game week 2 for Haaland and this Leicester fixture here in game week 18 for Salah is very comparable. Like if I had the chip still with me, I would be very tempted to use it on Salah. But again, it ties into your overall chip strategy as well. Like for my own strategy, I tend to now prioritize the assistant manager chip because I feel like that is the one with the biggest upside. So with that being the case, and say for example, you still have your triple captain chip, I think you work around when you want to play the assistant manager chip. Now, obviously, it's very hard to lock it in now because there's so much that could change. And the assistant manager chip obviously has the upside of having to monitor the league table and positions of the teams. But just try to have a rough idea of when you're likely to play your assistant manager chip, and then I will work around the other game weeks or the other doubles and when you should play your other chips. So long story short, or I guess the short answer is if you intend to use your other chips in all the future double game weeks as well. Obviously, you can head over to Ben Krellin's Twitter page to see when are the future double game weeks. But if you have those game weeks secure already in a rough idea of when you want to use your chips, then I don't mind playing the triple captainship now on Salah. But I'm keen to know what you guys think as well. Like, is I'm assuming that not a lot of people have your triple captainship with you still. But if you are one of those people, are you using it this week? I would be tempted. Pranav says Konza to Robertson or Raul to Wood. Probably Konza to Robertson. Becky says congrats, have fun and stay warm. Merry Christmas to you as well. And I do hope like Foden does well. I do hope that. Oh, that was in response to the UK. All right, thank you very much, Gary as well. Spending the New Year's in the UK. Have a good time. We'll miss you. Thank you very much. Is Cunha banned? Cunha probably would not be banned. He should be able to play. Should be able to play. Kipto Mike says, should I stick with the back five or should I drop Aina and Castagna for Semenyo and Pedro as they are in the bench? What should I do with Saka? I think you should sell Saka. I think overall, I've seen a couple of people discuss whether there's a possibility, even in my position, for example, that you could just bench Saka and then start Rodgers, have one more week to decide whether you want to, I guess, have one more week to decide who your ideal Saka replacement is. I think there is value in that, I would say. So if you're not pressed for your transfers and you don't mind just playing someone like Rodgers, I actually don't mind waiting one more week to assess, to be honest. So it depends. Like, it really depends on who your backup is. Should I stick with the back five or drop Aina and Castagna for Semenyo and Pedro? I think you would start the attackers generally. So I would start Semenyo and Aina, Semenyo and Pedro ahead of them. Is Cunha banned? He's probably not. I think he'll play. What do you think of Martinelli to replace Saka? I don't mind it. I think the minutes are good for Martinelli, but it's just a thing where he'll block you then. He'll block you for going with someone like Jesus up front. Roy says, bench one, it will be Hall or Kukurea. Tricky. Maybe it will be, to be honest. It's close, but maybe it will be. Bench Lewis Hall or Levi Colwell. At bench Levi Colwell, I go for the attacking threat of Lewis Hall. Ali says, who to start? João Pedro or Enzo or Rodgers? Play two, bench one. I would bench either one of Enzo or Rodgers. For now, leaning towards Rodgers, to be honest. Sell João Pedro for Jesus is a free transfer. FOMO on the Ipswich fixture. If it's a free transfer, and also if you intend to keep Jesus for a longer period of time, then I would say I guess you could do it. But this Brentford fixture for João Pedro is good. Mihir says, I have triple captain Salah. Thoughts on whether to keep or sell 8 Nuri? If I have to replace, who to replace him with? I think you should sell 8 Nuri. top defenders to buy this week, I'll put Munoz up there as one of the top ones to buy. In fact, if I was buying a defender this week, it would be Munoz. If you can stretch the trend, then it would be Trent. So when this is Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to you as well. Hope you had a good Christmas celebration. Kluivert versus Rodgers, bench decision. Kluivert has been taking along with the penalties, I have to say. It's the fixture, I guess. I might go Kluivert, to be honest. FPL Shane says, I know it's early to think about any teams you are but any teams you are thinking about targeting with the assistant manager chip to capitalize on the bonus points. Right, what I would say about the assistant manager chip is that I don't intend to play it in a way that it's going to be safe throughout. And what I mean by that is I'm not going to put it on Arnie's slot and have him for the 3 game weeks. I intend to make transfers each game week. I think for now that is the plan. It could obviously change, but the plan is to kind of make transfers and try to really capitalize on the ceiling of the chip, because the ceiling is really going for the underdog teams, backing them to kind of do well and win against a team that is placed 5 positions higher than them. So I really want to kind of go for that upside, but a lot of things may change by the time I use the chip. Like, it could be that I'm trying to, I don't know, protect rank, for example. But say if I was, I don't know, at 173k rank when I use my chip, I might just go, all the way in and try to go for the risky play. But yeah, I mean, the short answer is that I don't think I'll play it safe with the assistant manager chip. I think I would try to maximize the ceiling of the chip. Toby, nice to see you in the chat. Like and subscribe to support. Yes. If you haven't already, please do like, please do subscribe. Wow, we are smashing the like target today. We are at 94 likes. If you guys haven't liked yet, please do drop a like. We are 6 away from the like target. That's incredible. I don't think we've hit the 100 like target so quickly. Thank you all for that. Pedro replacements if he blanks. Well, Pedro replacements, there's many. And I'm honestly ready to sell him next week. There's Jesus, there's Mateta, Chris Wood is someone you could consider as well. So many. There's really so many options. Solanke is also a play you could go into. There are options. So I think there are more forward options now, at least, than there are midfield options. I think that has been the trend over the last few game weeks already. But I think with Saka being out, and also, I guess, the difficulty in us trying to nail down a replacement, it just goes to show that I think the real value is in nailing your forwards. So I'm ready to sell João Pedro in game week 19. I can afford anyone from Chris Wood to Jesus to Mateta, but I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I can reach Solanke, but I don't have plans to go for Solanke, so the options are still open for me. I think something else I'm considering as well, if I don't sell João Pedro, I drop him down to the bench next week, I could do either one of Ahmad or Rodgers to Ismail Assar. So that would be a cheaper route. I don't go for Mateta. Mateta is 7.2, he's more expensive. I go for Ismail Assar. So that's another way that I could, kind of still cover the Crystal Palace fixtures. So just things that I'm thinking about. There's also a possibility that I could go Rico Lewis to Munoz with the money I have in the bank, and play Robinson and Munoz together with Saliba and Gabriel over the next few. Like, I think the best part about this time of the season is that with this Saka injury, it has really opened up a lot of different possibilities. I felt like we were moving towards a template which felt like the game wasn't as diverse as it was at the earlier part of the season. But right now, I think we're starting to diverge again, which is great. Which is great. Srigamanda says, I am yet to use the first wildcard. Do I have to use it this game week or can I use it the next game week? You can use it the next game week, but that is your last game week to use it. So you pretty much have to use it next week. All good, Shane. No worries at all. Benching dilemma between Rodgers and João Pedro. I think this one I have to back the João Pedro fixture. Like Brentford have not kept a clean sheet. I know this because I have Flecken. Brentford have not kept a clean sheet aside from that one game week where Flecken got 9 points, I think. Yeah, the Everton game in game week 12. This was the only one. Every other game, he hasn't kept a clean sheet. So it's going to be typical FPL if we all have João Pedro and he doesn't score. But I will back João Pedro at least. I think the assistant managership will be most effective towards the end of the season when relegation teams are playing against teams who are on the beach. Fair enough. I think that's the, I wouldn't say beauty of the chip because I think there's other ways that they could have done. There's other chips that they could have come up with. But I think the good thing about this chip is that many people will interpret this chip differently. Some will play it definitely in a double game week. Others would feel like you play it towards the end of the season. Others would also feel like you play early on in the season. The moment we can play it in game week 24, you just start playing it because that's a point in time where the league table is still kind of iffy. Maybe Manchester United is still further down. Maybe Newcastle are also not, very far up yet. And you can back these teams to win teams 5 positions higher than them. So there's going to be lots of different ways that people are going to play it. So come game week 24, I guarantee you there will be a bunch of people already playing it. Would you go João Pedro or Mbumo? I try to play both of them this week, to be honest. Like I see that game as a game that will have a good number of goals. Araf, if you still have Haaland, you keep him. Now's not the time to sell him already. The fixtures are good. He becomes your differential now. Obviously, the caveats apply. Like if you don't have Salah, obviously go out and get Salah. Rank is 32k. Should I bring Haaland next game week? João Pedro to Haaland, Saka to Chowdhury, and Trent to Munoz. I'm rolling this game week. I think a lot of it will depend on your assessment of the City fixtures moving forward. So if you're confident, and hopefully, now that I've Foden, hopefully they start off this good fixture run with a good win against Everton. Hopefully, a good number of goals for Foden. And then, by then, people will start trying to jump on Man City assets. So, now it sounds crazy, right? It sounds crazy, but football can change very quickly. So we'll see what happens. Any midfielders you can recommend who are 7 million or below? A cheap ones that I would go for, Ismail Assar. He's up there. I think below 7 million, there's the Arsenal, there's the Trossard and Martinelli option. But again, it depends, like whether you are okay to go for these players instead of someone like a Jesus. Killcheck says, I did Saka, Mazraoui, João Pedro out for Bruno, Trent, and Jesus. I don't think you messed up. I think those are fine moves. I think those are all right. Vincent says, did 8 Nuri, Saka, Mbumo, Jackson. Minus 12 is huge, I would say. If you've done it already, then we can just leave it as that. But I think the players that you brought in at least can be kept for a while. The only one is Diaz, but you're taking a gamble with him, so it could go really well. It could go sideways as well. So hopefully it works out for you. Virgil, instead of going for Trent to save some money for getting a better goalkeeper in the coming weeks in place of Henderson or Fabianski. If you don't have enough money, would you go for someone like Van Dijk? I think arguably I would. But I think of late, like since he's come back from that injury scare or the hamstring scare, like his numbers continue to be quite decent. So I think there's not going to be a huge difference between Trent and Van Dijk. So if you can't afford, again, I really don't mind going for Van Dijk. It's gonna be an unpopular opinion, I think, but I really don't think there's a lot separating the two of them. I just know that a lot of people are tending towards Trent for what they know he can do. Any consideration for Wood over Mateta next game week? He's cheaper, feels more consistent, even though the ceiling may be lower. I don't mind. He's one of those players that I mentioned that I could go for, like Wood, Jesus, Mateta. They're all in consideration, but because of the fixtures, I think I may favor Mateta still. Is Jesus a good player to add to your squad? I think now is a good time to bring Jesus in. Merry Christmas to you. Should I risk it and captain Madison? Not this week if you have Salah. Should I buy Jesus with a -4? Who are you transferring out for the -4? If you reckon Haaland is sold to buy back when he starts firing, it's difficult. Yeah, I mean, if I'm interpreting what you're saying correctly, right now, I think many people will struggle to get Haaland in their teams. And all you need is for Haaland to score a brace against Everton. And things are going to change very quickly. Frederick says, Cunha, Mitoma, Ahmad, João Pedro, which one do you bench? Might be Ahmad, Might be Ahmad. Enzo or Sar? I prefer playing Ismail Assar this week. Stan says, would you start João Pedro or Sar? Wow. If it's between João Pedro and Sar, I think I'd go João Pedro. I actually think the Bournemouth fixture might be tricky for Ismail Assar. It's just a longer term view with Sar that I think makes people want to go for him now. Maybe you should do a bench list. Yeah, I should. I'll try to get the technicalities for a bench list out of the way. I could just do it on a Google document, for example. But yeah, I should. You're right. Should I buy Jesus with a -4? Who are you transferring out for the -4? Why Foden instead of KDB? His minutes are slightly better than Kevin De Bruyne's this season. They're still managing De Bruyne's minutes, by the way. Start 3, bench 2. Timber, Saliba, Mikalenko, Virgil van Dijk, and 8 Nuri. I think this one is straightforward. You bench Mikalenko and 8 Nuri. You start all of the rest. Who should I bench? Raya, Fabianski. You bench Fabianski. Timber, Vardiol, Trent, Colwell, Robinson. Wow. Your defense is pretty strong. Rogers, Sa, Ahmad. I see. You have a benching dilemma. I might bench... Okay, defenders-wise, I bench Robinson. Timber, I play for sure. Vardiol, I would play as well. Trent, I would play as well. So you bench Colwell and Robinson in terms of defenders. Up front, Cunha, Isak, and João Pedro, I start all. Midfielders, there's Rogers, Sa, Ahmad, Salah, and Palmer. I think I start all except Rogers. So that's pretty much a 3-4-3, I guess. Hopefully that was clear. Eze or Sa, I prefer Sa. Bench Colwell or Howson. I would Colwell or Howson. I would bench Howson. Thinking of Odegaard as a Saka replacement and Mateta in soon. Eventually, I'll replace Odegaard with a third Liverpool asset before double game week 24. Fair enough. Fair enough. If you don't intend to get Jesus in and you still want to cover the Arsenal fixtures, then then Odegaard could be your Saka replacement. Marco says, take a -4. Saka and Cunha for Dibbling and Haaland. 6.3k rank. Wow, that's incredible. You could. It depends, right? Is what's your outlook on Man City? If you think that you don't mind banking on the fixtures and going heavy with Haaland, then fair enough. I just say that is a lot of money. And if it does not compromise your the other areas of your team, then fair enough. Like if you have good enough enablers elsewhere, then fair enough. Enough apologies for skipping your question. Start Onana or Fabianski. It's tricky. Usually with these kind, I like to go with the odds. Let me just have a look at the clean sheet odds. But I think based off of my own gut, I probably would go with the easier fixture, which seems to be Southampton. Right, clean sheet odds wise, let me just pull it up. So clean sheet odds wise, this is from 11fi.com. Southampton versus West Ham. West Ham have a 28% chance. Onana versus Wolves. There's 27%. I mean, it's that close. It's that close. But I might go for West Ham, to be honest. It's the easier fixture. It's the easier fixture. Looking for a Saka replacement. Foden, Son, Madison, Martinelli, so much confusion. That is the thing. That is the thing with the Saka replacement this week. It is also a chance, I guess, to go different. Can Dunk be a differential? He could. He could, but I don't think Brighton are going to keep many clean sheets, to be honest. Okay, apologies for that. Porro to Trent for a -4. I guess yes. I guess it's worth a -4. But Porro against Nottingham Forest away from home. Yeah, I mean, I think I would do the -4. Strand Larson for either of Isak or Jesus for a -4. Happy holidays from Nairobi, Kenya. Happy holidays to you as well. Merry Christmas. Strand Larson for either Isak or Jesus for a -4. I think I might prioritize Isak, to be honest. It's an interesting question. I mean, if you don't have Isak right now, would you prioritize getting Jesus in before Isak? I would tend to say form-wise still Isak and penalties as well. I probably still go Isak. Should I play Rogers over Ahmad if I have Bruno? You could if you want to diversify the risk, but I think that is the main reason why I didn't want to go double Manchester United. Play Rogers over Ahmad. I'll still back the fixture though. I might still play double Manchester United. It's just a better fixture for Ahmad than it is for Rogers. Saka to Ahmad, that's fine. I think that's a fine move, but I think there are players that I would rank ahead of Ahmad right now. I think Ismail Assar is a player I would rank ahead of Ahmad at a similar price range. Start Strand Larsen or Raul Jimenez. Probably Raul for the penalties. And by the way, I would also say that Chelsea's defense, like this season, in terms of expected goals conceded, we're somewhere in mid-table, so we're not exactly like watertight in defense. Verbruggen or Fabianski, who to start? I might go Fabianski against Southampton. Who would you say is better, Ahmad or Enzo? Is between Ahmad or Enzo, I prefer Ahmad. Should I get Jesus in for Cunha? Yes, especially if it's for free, I think I would do it. Buy Jesus for João Pedro with a -4, I don't think I would do it. Because I think João Pedro has a good enough fixture this week. Greaves to Trent / Van Dijk for a -4, but it will block an upgrade for João Pedro next week. Nah, then I wouldn't take the -4. I wouldn't do that. And I would save money to upgrade João Pedro later on. Sar or Lewis? Swap Jesus for João Pedro or Cunha? Apologies for skipping a credit. There's too many. I have to try and get through as much, but I do apologize for skipping the question. If it's between Sar and Lewis, I'm assuming it's Rigo Lewis, by the way. I want to say Lewis because Everton have been very poor in terms of attacking, but Man City have also been abysmal in defense. I think the safe option would be to go with the attacker, which is Sa, but the Bournemouth fixture is not going to be as easy as it looks on paper. Swap Jesus for João Pedro or Cunha. If it's between João Pedro and Cunha, I would sell Cunha this week for Jesus. Who should I bench? João Pedro, Cunha, Semenyo, or Rogers? I bench Rogers out of all of them. Start Robinson or Colwell. I have Jackson and Palmer. I'll probably go full Chelsea then. Maximize the upside. If Pedro blanks again, he's out. Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with that. Start Rogers or Iwobi. Rogers ahead of Iwobi. Adam, morning to you as well. Would you take a -4 for Van Heck or Aaron Wan-Bissaka for Gabriel? I think I just play Wan-Bissaka, you know. Alan says, hi bro, what is the 2 budget midfielders to target? Currently, you have Ahmad and Rogers. Front 3, not enough for Mateta. I think another budget midfielder is Ismail Assar. Like, he's just the next most straightforward one, I'd say. Yeah, planning for Crystal Palace attack. Yeah, you go for Ismail Assar. Start Raya or Fabianski. I would still go with Raya. Merry Christmas to you, Ricky. Yeah, I never imagined Saka would be out for a long time. If Pedro blanks, should I buy Chris Wood or Solanke? Is Mateta not interesting? I think I might be more tempted by Mateta or Jesus. Nicholas says, sorry for being late. No worries at all. It's been one of my worst few days. Sorry to hear about that. Nicholas. Hope everything is going well. We'll keep her in my prayers for sure. Sending the condolences to you and your family. James says Captain Haaland or Isak. Do you not have Salah in your team? Do you not have Salah, James? Haaland is quite high at the predictions this week, at least. Akshat says got Foden in as well and Joe Gomez. Let's go, Team Foden. Let's go. Omar says Wood and Robinson currently on my bench. Do they get in over Rogers or Colwell? Colwell, no. I start Colwell over Robinson. So it's between Rogers or Chris Wood. I think I'd go Chris Wood ahead of Rogers, to be honest. Like Spurs not defending well. Next week, which one to swap out for Ismail Assar? I think in terms of fixture run wise, I'd say that Rogers actually only has one that's really, really good, which is Leicester in game week 20. Aside from that, it does look quite tricky, so you might want to sell Rogers instead of Ahmad. Ahmad's fixtures are marginally better, like Wolves now. Next week is Newcastle and then it's Liverpool, but then it's Southampton after that and it's Brighton after that. Like after that, the fixtures are pretty alright. So I think it's really about mapping out the duration of when you need these players. But when you're bringing in Ismail Assar as well, I'm sure you can cover some of those fixtures. So I probably sell Rogers, but just bear in mind you'll be missing out on this Leicester fixture in game week 20. Alright, we are going to end the stream very, very soon. So if I haven't gotten to your questions, please do type it in the chat. Just one last time, I do apologize for missing your questions if I have done so. And thank you very much for helping us to smash the like target. We are at 126 likes now. So thank you all for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate that. Foden start. I'm hoping he'll start. My guess is he will. We might get some leaks, but I had to make the move last night to avoid the price drop. Thoughts on Maddison? He was a no-brainer for me after the Saka injury. I guess the only concern for me is just the minutes, to be honest. Like, there are a couple of times this season that I've seen him just get substituted off for no... I guess it's tactical reasons, but I don't want to be going for an asset that is liable... not liable, that for an asset that is susceptible to a tactical switch like that. That says, hey man, just tuned in. Hope everything is good with you. Same to you as well. Just wondering if you should bench João Pedro or Rogers. I think I would bench Rogers and start João Pedro. Will you get Haaland in the future if he becomes consistent or he's out for the rest of the season? I'm not going to rule him out. Like, I can never rule someone like Haaland out. And for me, I think it's honestly a question of when I want to get him back. At least for the next few. I don't think I have any concrete plans. I think the next big time that I would think about getting Haaland is the wildcard. So we'll see when the wildcard windows start to show up as we get into the later half of the season. FPL Waves says, shout out to my 6-year-old Henry. Yes, we cannot end the stream without a shout out to Henry. Every stream he comes down. So shout out to you, Henry. Hope you're having a good Christmas. Haaland or Odegaard? I honestly envy the teams that are able to afford Haaland now, because I think this is a run where I expect Man City to score quite well. So. And I don't think Odegaard's data has been that good. That's the main reason why I haven't gone for him. I know full well that he's on penalties. I also know that he's going to take a greater share of the set pieces, corners, for example. But that, for me, does not outweigh the fact that, at least from open play-wise, based on data, it's not looking good, or it has not looked good for the whole of this season for Odegaard in terms of output. He's more a number 10 that really kind of links the play. He's more of a passer. I mean, you guys already know this, but he's not really someone that gets loads of goals or loads of assists. False FG says, should I get Virgil van Dijk for a -4 in place of Greaves to make my three-man defense? Saliba, Timber, and Virgil van Dijk with Nuri and Mikalenko on the bench. Yes, because this week I don't think you have good defenders to play in place of Mikalenko or Nuri. So I would take that -4. 132 likes. Thank you all very, very much. You guys are absolute legends. I feel like Foden will start. I'm hoping he'll start. As I've said, I don't have news. All I know is that I had to move for Foden last night to avoid the price drop for Saka. But my guess is that he will start. I don't feel like I should be triple up on Arsenal. Their fixture run really isn't that great. Another reason why maybe having one more week to think about it is good as well. Start Robinson or Konza. Tricky. Might go Robinson for the slightly greater assist threat. But I think both concede, to be honest. Dunk or Lewis? I think I start Rico Lewis ahead of Dunk this week. Isak or Haaland captain if you don't have Oh, I apologize for missing this question. Isak or Haaland captain? I think I would go Haaland, but it's only because the projections have him quite high. Like somehow this week, market odds and spread odds this week for City are quite high against Everton, despite knowing the fact that Everton have been defending quite well recently. So if you still think that Everton's going to defend strongly against Man City, you could go for Isak. He's the one that's more in form. But I think projections-wise this week, I might favor Haaland over Isak. Right, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you all for coming down. I hope you guys have a great Boxing Day. And yeah, a great time with your friends and families. This is obviously the festive period, so content is going to be coming thick and fast, and so is football. But as I've said, I will be traveling right after this stream. In a couple of hours' time, I will be flying to London. And for those who are still watching this stream, a bit of a spoiler is that I will be going on to the FPL Therapy podcast. So I'll leave it at that. And hopefully you guys are excited for that one. I'll link it in the community post that I have on YouTube as we get it done and as it's out on YouTube. But if not, stay tuned for that one. I hope you guys have a great Christmas period and a good Game Week 18. Green arrows for all of you guys. And I think that's pretty much it. I'll catch you guys in more Game Week 19 content. I can't believe it's already the midway point of the season, right? But I'll catch you guys then. And until then, thank you very, very much for all the support. Bye-bye.